Welcome to another episode of Lifestyles. Hope you got a fresh cup of coffee and you're ready for a great show. My name is Craig Sewing. I'm your host, and joining me today, our co-host Jen Morse, and we're going all over San Diego exploring America's finest city. So first, we're going to go downtown. We're going to visit with David Perloff. He is iconic in San Diego. He's going to discuss the social scene and all the stuff happening with his magazine, Pacific Magazine. Also, we're going downtown to the Local and Flux with David Rudd, top producing realtor down there. And then up north to Rancho Santa Fe with the iconic Ann Brazolis, who did $150 million worth of real estate transactions last year. Great show lined up for you. I hope you enjoy. Let's get it started now. America's finest city is also America's funnest city. Pacific Magazine, you know this magazine well. It was originated by David Perloff. He shares the stories of local entrepreneurs, businesses, things that are coming in town and just making this such a great city to not only visit, but to live in. So we're gonna go sit down with David Perloff right now and hear what he has to say about cool things happening in America's finest city. All right, so here we are at Barley Match. You've probably heard of Pacific Magazine. Everybody in San Diego knows it, but you might not know the man behind the scenes who created it from nothing. Many years he's been doing this. David Perloff, CEO of Pacific Magazine, and now with a big merger with the Union Tribune. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Craig. It's cool.
So first and foremost, let's introduce where we're at. We're at the Barley Match, which is a big relationship for you and the magazine, so you know these guys really well.
Yeah, we started Pacific in 2007, and our first bartender of the month ever was this guy, Aaron Langelier, who works here. Now he's a partner. He was a bartender. Wow. So it's cool. It's come full circle for us 10 years later now. They've been one of our best allies and partners, and we work well together.
Isn't it funny when you watch these guys emerge from like doorman to bartender to manager to
millionaire.
Some of these guys that own these great restaurants and bars in San Diego. It's really fascinating. Some of the success stories from guys working their way from the ground up. Barley Match is certainly one of them. You're another one. So Pacific Magazine, you just mentioned you started in 2007. What was your passion behind starting a magazine everybody seems to know now?
Honestly, it just started as a methodology for reaching 25 to 44-year-olds from about downtown to Del Mar to the 15. Historically, there hadn't really been a very good way of doing that. You could buy a radio station, advertising, and pay for St. Isidro and Oceanside, but if you wanted this core, sort of younger, active demographic, there wasn't a way to do it. So it was sort of born from that, and has developed now into, a resource for people to know where to go, what to do, from dining, entertainment, nightlife, lifestyle, arts.
2007 wasn't exactly a great year to start a business, right? So market implodes. Now it's 2016, a lot of things have changed. What's it been like for you as an entrepreneur running this magazine, and not only the shift in the market, but the shift in technology? Now we're online, social media. That has to change the way that you approach your business and certainly get the information out to the end-all consumer.
Yeah, when we started, it was just a magazine. And without really having a plan, we then added email, and then Facebook, and then Instagram, and then we had to get a better website. So, we really just started as a resource rather than thinking that we are print, we are a magazine. It was just trying to get entertainment information to San Diego consumers. So whatever new platform there was to add, just sort of, we took the same content we had and maybe had to repurpose it for different media. But our mission's always been the same, sort of deliver this where to go, what to do to information to the county. You mentioned the Union Tribune. For forever they were a competitor. And now all of a sudden,
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
And they had some sort of younger targeted brands, and now all of a sudden they've acquired Pacific, and I work there and will help them not only grow Pacific and its reach, but help develop and redevelop some of their existing brands and create new platforms. And again, basically it's the same information they have, but instead of my small team of about 5 or 10 people, now we have 400.
Yeah, it's tough to compete with a $1 million gorilla right? It's the only newspaper in San Diego now with the relationship with LA. They're obviously very successful with what they do, but to invite you in, it's not just about acquiring the magazine, but it's acquiring you. So it gives you a much bigger platform to get this message out. Is the demographic still 25, 44, social scene? Is that still the target?
Absolutely, that's not changing at all. I'm not going to have much influence on the newspaper side. I haven't been invited to, and I won't ask to.
You're not writing any articles in the paper? That's probably a good thing.
I buy a subscription now, so that felt like progress.
I'm one of the rare people that still reads a newspaper as well,
Yeah.
but oh well.
It's not that rare. It's just a different demographic. It's a sort of a 45 plus targeted demographic, and they super serve that audience. They have their own night and day product.
Yep.
It's in the Thursday paper, and that's been a wildly popular brand for decades. So my role is just going to be sort of bring up this younger side, and like I said, deploying some new strategies and some new social media. But we have so many writers now and editors, and just a huge wealth of content that's being produced all of the time.
Yep.
My role will be to help package this content so the consumers can have, and then of course from the money side, so the advertisers can reach the consumers that are consuming the product.
It's a much bigger reach. Like I just said, the $1 Million Gorilla, for them to invite you on, I think expands their reach maybe into the younger demographic, and certainly maybe some untapped resources on the partners and relationships that you have. On your magazine, let's talk about the content. You have some stories, articles, comedians, you do the blind date. There's an article that I write in there every month, a little self-endorsement.
You do a great job there.
I send these emails to David Perloff at about midnight, and I get emails back from him at about 5 in the morning editing my...
This is horrible. Where did you come up with this crap?
We have,
Craig does a great job. You do.
Yeah, it's a little bit more informal when we're talking off the record, but I've been honored to be able to write that piece. I get a tremendous amount of feedback. I mean, for someone who has a daily TV show and a radio show, I get more people to reach out for these specific magazine pieces, and it's fascinating to me because people would tell you that print is a dying medium, and the reality is the feedback that I get, the people that engage, the following we get on social media, truly we see that it's not just about print, but it's about, this has a major footprint in San Diego. Pacific Magazine is very well known in San Diego, and it's because you've had such a focus on content. So for those who haven't seen it, what are some of the content pieces you have?
There's some, I've said a couple of times about where to go and what to do, but from, even upcoming movies, art openings, concerts, new restaurants, chefs, performing arts, fine arts, just things that are coming in the next month or so, accounts for the lion's share of the content. But then also we have fun features. So for example, we'll have celebrities on the cover, and one thing that's nice now that the Union Tribune owns Pacific Magazine is we have a much broader reach. The company that owns Pacific has Chicago Tribune, LA Times, San Diego Union Tribune. So when we're doing outreach to celebrities for covers, we can say, hey, I want to be in LA Times, and the answer is usually yes.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. We have some newer, cooler, bigger celebrities coming down the pipeline. Pacific exists to find the cool stuff happening around town, package it, and present it. However, the consumers want to get it, we want to give it to them because it serves them and our advertising partners. I don't care if it's print or what it is. We just, we have the data, the information. If a big DJ is coming to town, we want people to know about it. We want the beer companies who are selling their beer through the nightclub to advertise with us. We want the nightclub to advertise with us, and we have the consumers win tickets on our social. So it's a pretty good circle of the audience, the entertainment, and then the people providing the entertainment.
Love it, man. Well, America's Finest City counts on you for this information. It's an amazing story that you share every month, not to mention the stuff you do online, but we appreciate you sharing your story with us. David Perloff, I guess we should cheers. I mean, we've got beers here.
Cheers.
They're half empty, but
cheers, buddy.
Cheers. So you gotta love great stories, self-made success stories. He built that magazine from the ground up. Pretty cool, and of course, it tells us all about what's happening in America's Finest City.
I'm here with David Rudd, and we're at the Local in downtown San Diego. David, thanks for having us down here.
Yeah, thanks for actually coming down, and cheers to a
have
good
cheers.
start.
I love that my glass is twice the size of yours.
They keep me on a limit here.
Yes, it definitely has a local feel.
Yes. I mean, the local was established in 2003, family-owned business. And one of the things that I like about it, it was one of really the first venues in the financial district. If you look back to downtown at the time, back in 2003, there weren't these really good local, family-oriented local businesses that were going in and really changing the way the downtown was going to become to where we're at today, 2016. So 13 years later, here I am sitting with you in America's finest city in downtown San Diego.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
You can't. I mean, when you go into an establishment where you are known as a local and you're meeting with local friends, but also that they've been committed to San Diego, the sports, the local businesses, local charities. And on tap, when they first started, was all local brewery. Now San Diego being the craft capital of the world. It's amazing. I mean, we're beating out a lot of the
Oregon,
big, Seattle when we were going in against Colorado. Now for us to be focused on that, and we've got a very vibrant community, and not some of these large players like Stone. We've got a lot of local brewers that are just starting and going in and opening full service operations. So I can't say it, I love it anymore. And downtown, fantastic place to live.
You mentioned that this is family owned. Are a lot of the new up and coming restaurants in the area family owned?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, a lot of the businesses that are coming in where we're seeing large restaurant groups that have come into play and really are changing the forefront and also the face of restaurant entrepreneurs in San Diego. And in my personal opinion, the local actually was at the beginning, or the model that they're all building their restaurants off of. It's something that is not only just culinary unique, but also something that people feel where they're going is at home, and it's supporting the local community.
You mentioned that the local is in the financial district. I don't think many people realize that there's so many little micro communities, micro markets within downtown San Diego.
And that's a great point. Living in San Diego so many times and living in different areas within San Diego, typically people refer to downtown. Well, actually, now that downtown San Diego has become much more residential, and where we're drawing in a lot of millennials, Gen X, as well as empty nesters, we're finding that we're getting almost boroughs. So we have a formal Little Italy now. We now have Seaport Village that's been expanded with the headquarters. We have East Village where the baseball stadium is. So now we're getting these really nuanced neighborhoods within the traditional downtown that everybody thought that San Diego is all about. And it's a great way. I want to invite them down to enjoy. This is a great place to live, work, and obviously eat and drink.
And I can speak to the food in Little Italy. It's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal, and one of actually more popular neighborhoods, both for tourists and for the empty nesters that are looking for a residential area, both with a subtle, home feel as far as walking on the street, but also with that vibrant nightlife of great restaurants, great food, and good times.
With great restaurants, great food, great entertainment, it tends to draw sometimes a younger demographic. What do you see happening in the downtown area?
So I love that question, and I love to live it every day because I lived in downtown San Diego and I've lived all over the county. But what's the unique part about it is that we are getting the millennials, the younger generation, we still have the Gen X, and then our empty nesters. So what we have is we have a combination of really every age demographic.
And we do have the mass transit. People need to know, if you do live outside of the downtown area, you can jump on the coaster. We have the trolley system. So it really makes it accessible to everybody in San Diego County.
It's definitely accessible. I mean, between the public transit, and we also have express metro buses that are now coming down from a lot of suburban areas. But aside from that is a big reason why a lot of people are actually wanting to move to downtown San Diego. People don't want to commute anymore. They want the walkability. They want to hand in the keys and stop paying their insurance and use public transit or use services out there similar to Uber or Lyft or Car2Go, and allows them for flexibility and enjoying wonderful San Diego.
Let's talk about the availability then of the housing market in downtown. What kind of properties are coming up? Any new exciting projects happening?
Yes, we've got a really neat project that's coming on that's being built by BOSA, which is going to be a luxury condominium. And that development is really going to change the face of luxury living in downtown San Diego. It is done by BOSA. It's being built down in the Marina District, very close to where the new headquarters is in downtown. But their amenities are going to be nothing like we've seen in San Diego's residential market, world class, almost something that you would see only in Dubai, where the residents will actually be enjoying, if you will, a boat or yacht that will be a part of the homeowners association.
Tell us about the medium housing prices in the area. Is everything only $1 million and up?
No, and I think that that's a great question. It isn't only $1 million and up, and for people that are willing to make the modification to their lifestyle of being able to cut down on the size of their home, do a little bit more simple living from the size of a home, and realize that your home is also outside your four walls. So the affordability is definitely here downtown, where you can get 2 bedrooms, 2 baths that are in the $500,000 to $600,000 range, but you also can go into luxury units that can be 2,000, 3,000 square feet, and you're going to be pushed up into the millions, 3 millions, 4 millions. But definitely the affordability downtown is still here, and I think a wonderful investment, especially with what's going on and what the future of San Diego has.
So exciting, isn't it?
Amazing.
Well, David, thanks for bringing us here. I know that we're going to head out.
Well, we got to hit the night scene,
right? All right.
So we might as well go in, and we'll catch up with the next.
All right, cheers to that. Let's go. So you said you were going to bring me to Flux. You got us in all through the red tape outside. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're a VIP. That's what San Diego is all about.
That's so sweet of you to say that. You know, this is the premier nightclub in San Diego.
Premier nightclub, 7 years in the running with some of the top artists playing here live that they book all the time. It's just an amazing place to go and get away, especially if you've been out enjoying a place like the Local, and then coming here, meeting up with friends and getting bottle service and enjoying the nightlife that San Diego uniquely offers.
It really does, and this has been Flux has been in business for 7 years.
7 years.
And they have resident artists like Snoop Dogg.
Exactly.
That's unbelievable.
Big headliner names.
Yeah, Wiz Khalifa's coming soon.
I mean, when you're booking names like that, you know not only that you've got the clientele that wants to keep coming back, but you know that you're doing things right.
Besides the fantastic nightlife that's happening here, all the great bars and restaurants, there's also a really family-friendly level of entertainment and things to do in the daytime with the community.
And I'm really glad that you brought that up. If you're moving to downtown San Diego, you're not moving here for the school district, but we do have a lot of families and new families that actually are living here or starting their families here because they want to enjoy the urban lifestyle of walkability, commutability, and being able to spend time with family in family-friendly places. So if you're even living outside the area, I invite you to come down and look at some of the great offerings that are here, because you may find you can call this home.
I also know the Children's Museum is here. The library was just fully remodeled.
Yes, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful work of art. I think state of the art, as well as very inviting for the families. And to your point, great day to spend down here, both in Seaport Village, and be able to just walk around across the marina and the Bayfront parks.
But if you are interested in coming to hear some music and dance and get some great bottle service, Flux is where it's at.
That is where it's at, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
You just heard from David Rudd with Kindred Real Estate, your local real estate expert out of this downtown marketplace. Today we're in one of the most exclusive and desirable communities in the country, Rancho Santa Fe. The Covenant of Rancho Santa Fe was established in 1928 as a country residential community with an emphasis on agriculture and preserving the unique landscapes. Since then, Rancho Santa Fe, or the Ranch as the locals say, have evolved into a breathtaking community with around 4,300 residents. With an acclaimed golf club and the town center featuring shops, restaurants, businesses, and the historic Rancho Santa Fe Inn, the ranch has truly become an area that attracts everyone from young families to retirees that want to spend their golden years in one of the most beautiful places in the country. We're going to be learning even more about the history of this community and what it has to offer from top producing agent and Rancho Santa Fe resident Ann Brazolis. Let's go catch up with her now. We're here today at the iconic Mille Fleurs restaurant in the heart of the Rancho Santa Fe community with real estate elite Ann Brazolis. Ann, thanks for having us here.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you.
And you've been a Rancho Santa Fe resident for 30 years. You've been involved in real estate for 27 years. Tell us a little bit about this community and why it's so special to you.
It's been such a delight to live here, and we came here 30 years ago with a 3-year-old little boy, and we raised our son here, and so that was very important to us, and we were looking for just the ideal Southern California community, great schools. We really didn't know much about it before we got here. We started our San Diego journey in La Jolla and literally found Rancho Santa Fe, like so many people do, by accident. As we did more investigation and we started looking that this could become our new home, we found the village of Rancho Santa Fe, and I think at that time this location, Mille Fleurs, was just a newly opened restaurant.
30 years ago.
30 years ago, and I remember celebrating birthdays here, and the courtyard is one of my favorite places in the ranch, and especially this time of year, it's just so pretty, and that you sit outside and, you know, lunch or dinner, it's just magnificent.
So tell us a little bit about how it's changed.
You know, that's very interesting because when we arrived, the Rancho Santa Fe Covenant, which is where we are now, was really what I call now the original recipe. It was Rancho Santa Fe, the 92067 zip code, and Fairbanks Ranch was really the new kid on the block. And it was not in the Rancho Santa Fe School District, which is why so many people have come to Rancho Santa Fe. The school district, very, very strong, very highly rated school district. They just underwent a $40 million remodel. So everything is state of the art, and it's treated almost like a private school, although it's funded federally. And because of federal funds not being what some of the people in the community would like, there's a huge support from the community and parents.
You mentioned coming here with a 3-year-old. Sometimes I think that people might see Rancho Santa Fe as a place maybe for an older demographic. Do you find that that's the case, or are there a lot of families that come here?
You know, what's interesting is people have seen Rancho Santa Fe is more likely a retirement community or young retirement community, let's put it that way. But in truth, there is such a vibrant young group of families here, and at the time that we came here and we settled in Fairbanks Ranch, I think the Covenant was probably a little bit of an older community, but over the years, believe it or not, there are now 35 little enclaves. All of these other enclaves, almost all of them are now gated communities that are all make up the larger Rancho Santa Fe community.
So tell us about the homes and the types of homes that you can find in the Rancho Santa Fe community.
What's really interesting, and it's very diverse, and again, you wouldn't think that maybe it would be, but the Covenant is home to really the larger parcels. So where we're sitting here in the village is very village-like. It's walking, you can walk to the restaurants, to the bank, to the market, to wherever shops. And so the other parts of the Covenant have larger properties. They've been very conducive to people that want to have tennis courts, guest houses, horse facilities, barns, things like that. So as you go into the outer lying areas of the Covenant, the properties actually got bigger.
So, you know, you've been here for over 30 years now. You've seen all the changes. What socially is going on in the Covenant? What are some new and exciting places? Where are the hot spots that you like to go? Besides Mille Fleurs, of course.
There's going to be a new restaurant which will be opening very soon, which was another favorite called Delicious. And this was a very favorite local place in Rancho Santa Fe for many, many years. And a new owner has come in and hired what we think is going to be an amazing chef, and it's going to give a whole new life to the village. So that's exciting. The inn has recently been purchased by a local entity, and they've done a wonderful remodel. There's some wonderful opportunities there. And one of the very, very unusual things about the community is 50 miles of groomed trails. That's part of the association, paid for by the residents, to keep the trails in order, and they are used by people to walk and horses, and there's no motorized vehicles allowed on the trail.
So if someone were to say to you, what is one misconception about Rancho Santa Fe, something that people might not know, that you know to be true to the area, what would you say?
I think the misconception would be that it's stuffy. What I love to see is the balance and the mix. There's still the people that play golf that might be retired. There's the young families that are here because of the school and because of the lifestyle. And the other thing that's overlooked, because I think we take advantage of San Diego, is the weather. The Rancho Santa Fe weather is absolutely amazing. We don't get a lot of coastal fog, and it's just such a lovely place to experience year-round.
No better place to be.
Exactly.
Ann, thank you so much for bringing us into such a special community today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You just heard from real estate elite Ann Brazolis about what it's like to live in Rancho Santa Fe, how this community's changed over the last 30 years, and some of the great highlights that this community has to offer. Now back to the show.
Lifestyles, a show that celebrates America's finest city, and it really celebrates the stories of San Diego, and that's where I'm reaching out to you right now. If you have a great story, or you know somebody that does, whether it's someone who's leading a charity, leading a business, or has just overcome adversity, something that you know is iconic to San Diego, we'd love to share it on our show. So if you know of anyone, please reach out to us at lifestylessandiego.tv. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, we'd also love if you could engage with us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we're everywhere. If you go to lifestylessandiego.tv, you can contact us, you can follow us on social media. We certainly hope you do. And of course, please don't forget to catch us every Sunday on the CW, Channel 6 at 1 p.m. Thanks for tuning in the show, and thanks for supporting us.